Hey, Hope. Hey, hope you're doing well today. Hope you're having a great afternoon. I hope you are keeping hope alive. I hope inside you're keeping hope alive during these tough, challenging days. Hey, I want to come to you this Wednesday, July the 15th, 2020, with a dose of hope. And your Wednesday words for today are walk in wisdom. Walk in wisdom. The Bible says in Proverbs 16:16, it says, how much better to get wisdom than gold, to choose understanding rather than silver. Wisdom is worth more than gold. It's worth more than understanding. In fact, the Bible goes on to say the wisest man who ever lived was Solomon. And he said in Proverbs chapter 13, verse 20, he who walks with the wise grows wise, but a companion of fool suffers harm. And then in Proverbs 11, verse 14, it says, there is wisdom in a multitude of counsel. Hey, during these uncertain, uncharted waters times, man, that's what I've tried to do. I've tried to walk in wisdom. I've tried to walk with God on a daily basis. I've tried to ask myself, what's the wise thing to do? I've tried to seek wise counsel from every angle, from our deacons, from our leadership, from the medical field, from doctors, from the CDC, from the from every angle. That's been my go-to. That's how I've tried to walk through these uncertain times. And during these months, it hadn't been easy. Especially our world has been turned upside down with this COVID-19 virus. And as I've said it many times, it's caused so much division in the world. But we're going to keep on keeping on. And when the deacons and I made the decisions, and by the way, when I make a decision, we kind of work through this together, walk through this together as the leadership. We come together, we discuss, we pray about things. And so when the deacons and I made the decision on July the 19th, the numbers were trending in a positive way. And since that time, they spiked. In fact, the numbers are greater now for this COVID-19 virus than they were when we all went in the pandemic. And there's all kind of different views, all kind of opinions. I've said that before as well. And some people think it's a media hoax. Some people think it's political. Some people think it's a serious virus. Here's what we know. We know it is definitely a sickness, and we know people are dying from it. And so from my angle as a pastor, I try to ask myself, what is the wise thing to do? That's what I want you to do. And the best question you could ever ask yourself every day is, what's the wise thing to do? And I ask myself, what's the wise thing to do? And so as the numbers begin to trend up, I want you to know we're doing everything we can to try to open the church on August the 2nd, but everything's subject to change. I know other churches have opened, but I also know there's about 12 to 15 churches that I know that have opened and closed. They open, and the staff gets it, they close, and so because of the virus. And so we're walking through this. There is no manual for a pandemic, and so nobody's been through this before. And so no experts, all the experts seem to be, they don't know what the next step is going to happen or what's going to happen in the future. And so we're walking through this together. I love you. I want the best for you. I want to feel like I've made good decisions to keep you safe and healthy and wise. And for me, just to say, well, it's just a political scam or it's a hoax, I think that's very insensitive to all the healthcare workers. All the healthcare workers that are working nonstop. And right now, our hospitals are flooded. They're packed, and healthcare workers are in heavy demand. Our nurses are working, ambulance drivers. All these people are working. And for me, as a follower of Jesus Christ, I ask myself, what's the wise thing to do? There's your question again. What's the wise thing to do? And the Bible teaches that we need to walk in love. We need to walk in wisdom. We need to love one another. And how selfish would that be to continue to go, you know what? Hey, man, we're gonna keep going. We're not gonna slow this thing down. And our workers, our nurseries, our people in our church are working nonstop. So I want to say, I said all that to say, everything's subject to change. We're taking week by week. Hey, we got a date, August the 2nd, just like we had July the 19th. We're shooting for that. We're working toward that. And I want to give you, I told you Sunday, I would give you a dose of hope, an update on our guidelines for you to know what's going to happen, how we're going to open the church. and what you've got to do it. And then at the end of this, I'm going to ask you to text a certain number that we have. It's not my number, but you can text this number to go, yes, I will come, or no, I'm not going to come. And so I want to walk through those guidelines right now so you can be able to know what to expect on the Sunday that we come. Hopefully it'll be August the 2nd, but we don't know for sure. That's what we're shooting for, that's what we're aiming for, but everything, again, is subject to change. And so again, I know people are upset. I know everybody wants to be in church. I want to be in church, but I think it's not very wise to bury a head in the sand and not recognize that the hospitals and the numbers are spiking. And yep, I know, I hear it all from everybody. You know, hey, there's not as many people dying, but what do you do about all the people in the hospital? What do you do about people that are having to cancel their surgeries because there's no room? So we're just trying to walk in wisdom. Let me give you those guidelines real quick, and I want to walk through that. And so the first thing you would do is you would go on the website on July the 27th, which would be the Monday after July the 26th, and you would register to come to church. Why do we do that? Well, if you look at the CDC guidelines, you understand, I don't care what anybody else is doing, what in the gathering, if you follow the guidelines and do what they tell us to do, hopefully we can get this thing under control, but it seems like nobody really wants to do that. So the reason I'm asking you to register is that, I shouldn't have said nobody. I mean, there's a lot of people who are, but there's plenty of people that aren't. But the reason I'm asking you to register is because we got to keep tracking number as far as who's in the building so that we can know if somebody gets sick, we know who to contact to say, hey, we want you to know you were exposed to this virus. So you need to go on the website on July the 27th. Remember, there's only a 200 seat capacity that we're going to have here, and it's definitely possible that you might not get in on that. So July the 27th is the day to go to register. The guidelines say, CDC guidelines, is if you're sick or have a fever, please stay home. You've heard that, you know that. And here's another thing that they're saying: 65 years and old, please don't get in gatherings. Please don't come. Am I going to keep you from coming if you're 66 or 65 and a half? No. And I'm not the CDC police. I've said it before. That's up to you. I'm just trying to follow the guidelines set in place for us. The doors are open at 10 o'clock, and so we will ask you to enter through the side door. Most of you know this building well. You'll come through the side door. When you arrive, you'll see a tent outside. That'll be a place for you to Germ-X up and put on a mask. And so now masks are required. According to what the governor said, the masks are required in public places. So at first we were strongly encouraged, but we're asking everybody to wear a mask inside the building. That's what the governor said. That's what his orders say. So we're asking you to do that. We'll ask you to germ up, put on a mask, and then we will have people outside to bring in and seat you. The room is set up. I'm in the multi-purpose room right now, and the room's already set up where we have rows taken out. The chairs are back far enough where I can preach and not hit you with any spit or anything like that. So. But we will seat you strategically, bring you to a seat, and put you in. One of the leadership will walk in, make sure you're social distancing, and we'll ask you to continue to maintain that inside the building and wear the mask, practice social distancing, Germ-X up. Please stay away. All volunteers their temperature will be checked, and they also will be wearing a mask. The only body that will not have a mask on will be the people that are on the platform. Restrooms will be open. We will be paying somebody to monitor those restrooms, one guest in at a time, and then they'll be sanitized afterwards. There will be no coffee or snacks. There'll be no nursery, no child care. Kid packs will be available. There will be no greet time and no welcome time. There will be no offering baskets. We have boxes already mounted on the back door. Hey, we've tried our best on a weekly basis to see when we could open. We continue to move forward, and so we're on a weekly basis. We're trying our best to analyze and go, hey, what can we do? How can we get prepared? There'll be no bulletins to hand out. We'll ask you to drop your offering in the baskets or the boxes, the metal boxes by the back door. All members and guests, whoever enters, their temperature will be checked outside before you come in. So you'll come up to a tent, you'll get your temperature checked, you'll have to put on a mask, and then you'll be escorted into the building. I want you to know, I get a lot of pressure, but this is the new normal. A lot of people think we want to come back to church and do what we used to do, and that's what I want to do. But according to CDC and where we are in our world, and we're in the middle of a pandemic, we got to do the right thing. We got to ask ourselves, what is the wise thing to do? And so we're following these guidelines. And again, I know many people have been upset with me in the process, but I love you. I love you. I like you. I care about you. And I'm willing for you to be mad at me because I care about you so much. The Bible teaches to love one another. And I'm trying to give it all I got to love you. And I've told you this many, many times. The one person that wants to open more than anybody is me. Preaching to a camera, talking to a camera week after week is really, really challenging. In fact, when we ever get back, hopefully it'll be August the 2nd, but when we get back, we're going to set the gym up. We're going to set the multi-purpose room up. We're going to fly the drone around like we've done flying. We're going to put the camera right here because I want you to get a feel of what's been going on during these 4 months. And so if there's anybody who wants to open the church, it's Burr Lovett. And so let me finish up these guidelines. There will be no invitation, as there will be an invitation, but there won't be an in-person invitation where you'll come down. We'll have a number for you to text. And if you want counseling, we'll try our best to, I'll be able to call you and talk to you a little bit or email you. At the end of the service, you will exit out the back doors. And so you'll go out the back doors into your car. Again, I'm not the CDC police, ladies and gentlemen. This is up to you. Practice social distancing to protect yourself. And there's a lot of people who say, well, I'm not wearing a mask and I'm not going to get sick. But you just need to think about other people, because you may be a carrier, or you may give it to someone else, and then they may give it to someone else, and someone may lose their life because we won't practice what they're asking to practice. I thought about this a lot, and I prayed about it a whole bunch. I didn't go to school to be a scientist, a doctor, or anything like that. I wish I had, maybe, but I don't know all that stuff. So I had to rely on people that have been to school, that have been placed in authority over us to go, hey, this is the right thing to do. This is the wise thing to do. When I go fly on a plane, I have no idea what the inside of a cockpit, what all the instruments mean. I see them all up there. But it would be foolish of me to go in there and start telling people how to fly the plane and this instrument and that instrument and what they did when I really don't know. And so for me, I'm not here to debate what's going on in the world or if this is right or that right. I'm simply trying to follow the guidelines that have been placed and put in my hands as a leader of the church. This is where we are. Hope family, these have been challenging days, unprecedented times, and we're walking through this as best we can. I want to encourage you to know that we're going to try our best to continue to look and evaluate and see what the wise thing to do. But I'm not going to put you in harm's way. I'm going to continue to ask myself, what's the wise thing to do? And it seems like to me, gatherings, when you get in big gatherings, you take more of a risk to getting the coronavirus. And so today, the question that I have for you, what's the wise thing to do? And so your dose of hope is walk in wisdom. That's what I want to challenge you to do. We're shooting for August the 2nd. We're going to see what happens in the next few days. All right, we're praying for a remedy. We're praying for a cure. We're praying for our healthcare workers. And yes, I pray for you. I've tried my best to call every one of you, every one of the members that's a member of Hope Baptist Church, to go, hey man, you're okay. And how's everything going? And so I do care. I care about you. I care about this church. I care about walking with Jesus on a daily basis. Hey, that's what's going on this Wednesday, July the 15th. So hang in there, stay strong, don't give up. We will get through this. In fact, some people say, well, you don't have any faith. You don't have any faith in God. I have more faith in God that we're going to make it through this. The church is going to be okay, and we will get through this. And I challenge you. I challenge you to make Sunday the Lord's Day. Don't just take a vacation from church, from God, and not come and worship God. Every week we give you the opportunity to worship and hear the Word. Yep, we can't undo how it looks and how I preach on this camera, but we give you the opportunity to hear the Word of God, to preach. And you should take time to have family worship time. What if you had lived back in Acts chapter 2, they were meeting in homes, and they worshiped in homes. They had their Bible study in homes. I love being together. I want to be together. I think that the local church is the hope for the world. This is where we are today. Take advantage of it. Worship God. God didn't leave us. He's still on the throne. And so keep hope alive. Hey, God bless you. I love you. Have a great Wednesday, everyone.